Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4 and we're gonna talk about what are the goals of language teaching by Vivian. First, let me introduce our member. The first is me, Arifatul Amalinda N.S, and the second speaker is Hanania Azhari. The third is Rizki Rindiani. The fourth is Handini Retrisya Dasanggita, and the last one is Dwina Qhisti. So, let's start with our outlines. This is our outlines. The first is introduction. The second is the hierarchy of languages. The third is group of second language users. And the fourth is summarize. So, why would anyone want to learn another language? What goal do the learners themselves have in mind, and what goals do others lay down for them? Like human beings in general, people who use a second language users come in all shapes, sizes, races, and creeds and can be divided up in many ways. In other words, there are many possible goals in language learning, amounting to a choice of which kind of second language user you want to be. So this is the second is the hierarchy of languages, and there are four classifiers group by Abram de Swans. So the first is local or peripheral languages, the second is central languages, the third is super central languages, and the last is hypercentral languages.
Okay, so the first is local or peripheral language. People do not usually learn local language as second language except who migrate into the relevant area because this language is spoken with a limited geographical area. For example, Finnish hardly spoken outside Finland and part of Sweden. Another example language is Welsh, confined to Wales, apart from a pocket of speakers in Argentina. Second is central language. Central language is the main language within each country. Speakers of local language other than the central language have to learn them to live. For example, Italian is the central language for Italy, and it used by the Italian who speaks German, Ladino, Sardinian, Finnish, and other language. Third is supercentral language. Supercentral language is the language used for certain function across several countries. The supercentral languages are often taught as variant language in schools in other countries, such as French, German, or Spanish. For example, French is an official language across a band of African countries, such as the Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Mali, and others.
For Hypercentral Language. Hypercentral language is language that spoken in almost any country for any purpose, and is now thought is most conscious of the world. Finally comes the only Hypercentral language. It has become a global lingua franca, not just for communicating with native speakers, but also predominantly for communication with non-native speakers for good or for Next group of attribution. Number one, people who are part of multilingual communities. In many parts of the world, people now live in communicate where several languages are spoken. For many people, the ability to use other languages alongside their own is vital to their lives in their own home countries. Children who grow up speaking other languages than the central language of their environment need to acquire it to function outside their parent home. For example, most of people are dealing with the bank, employer, public transport, and all the other basic necessary for living in a city. Number two, people regaining their cultural heritage. The point is that someone learns language with the aim of preserving the culture of their ancestors. For example, in Newcastle upon Tyne, the Mandarin School has been teaching children Mandarin Chinese in Saturday for many years, emphasizing the importance of traditional and contemporary Chinese cultures, so that the people have a better understanding of the language and how and why use it.
And the third is short-term visitors to another country. Uh, one change in modern life is the extent to which people move around the globe for short stays. For example, some are overseas students studying on short or long courses in London or Shanghai. Another example is English people go to Peru, Burma, or Tibet. The visitors need to communicate with the locals, whether in their hotels or in their supermarkets, even if this involves rather a little of a second language. And the fourth is people using an L2 with partners, friends, or children. People using second language with partners, friends, or children. People have friends or parents who speak another language because cross cultural contacts. For example, people often have friends or partners who speak another language. Uh, Johnny Depp and his former partner Vanessa Paradis spoke English and French respectively, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shrieve spoke German and English, and Aristotle Onassis married Jackie Kennedy, bringing together Greek and English. And the fifth is people using an L2 internationally for specific function. Many jobs now require the use of a second language. For example, piloting aircraft where air traffic controls uses aviation English everywhere in the world. Another example is many other worldwide occupation or sport use second language, whether business, F1 motor racing, or call centers. This is a supercentral language used for limited purposes across frontiers.
Six people use L2 internationally for a wide range of functions. In a sense, your limit is up to any demand that you aim to place on it. For example, writing a love letter or a check, reading a novel or a text message, talking to a spouse or defending yourself in court. Many L2 users employ a second language for similar wide-ranging purposes. They are not restricted to specialist functions. Next, English has been called the hypercentral language since it may be used virtually anywhere for virtually any reason. At the moment, this global usage is often associated with the idea of English as a lingua franca or ELF. English as global means of communication between native speakers of other languages. ELF has its own grammar and pronunciation, distinct from native speaker English. So for all students' goals in studying another language that it is fun and not too difficult, then languages are more stimulating than other subjects, there is always something new to learn. Then language means that you can do basically any job that you want anywhere in the world. Language help you to be more open-minded towards other cultures. Language learning makes traveling easier, more enjoyable, more enriched, so that you are a hard worker. So, for summarize that Abraham Dessalines classifies languages into four groups are local or peripheral languages, central languages, supercentral languages, and hypercentral languages that we had talked before. Then, there are six broad groups of L2 users that relate with this one's group of language. There are people who are part of multilingual communities, people regaining their cultural heritage, short-term visitors to another country, people using an L2 internationally for specific functions, L2 international for a wide range of functions. That's all from us. Thank you.